Thousands of people could face summer holiday disruption after staff at Stansted Airport voted to strike over pay. Firefighters, engineers, support and security staff at Stansted have voted to reject a 1% pay offer from operator BAA. The company has called the pay offer reasonable at a time when passenger numbers are down. The Unite Union will meet on Monday to decide what industrial action to take. 5 other UK airports will also be affected. And you can see more on that story coming up in the ITV National News at 6:30 today.
Motorists using the Dartford Tunnel faced serious congestion this afternoon after a crash involving a fuel tanker. It happened just before 2 o'clock in the West Tunnel of the Dartford River crossing and forced both tunnels to be closed. A driver suffered minor injuries. The West Tunnel remains closed this evening with queues of up to 10 miles long.
Police forces across our region have been drawing up proposals that could mean hundreds fewer officers on our streets.
Millions of pounds worth of savings will be needed as part of budget cuts that will affect all of our forces. Matthew Hudson has this report.
So now we have an idea just how deep the cuts in police numbers in Norfolk could be. The local police authority is considering cutting 165 officers within 2 years, a full 10%, as the force struggles to balance its books. Andy Heyman used to be Norfolk's chief constable. He knows things will be tough for his former colleagues.
Less numbers means less coverage. So I think what you'll see is once the chief constable has got his head around what that actually means, there's inevitably going to be some services in Norfolk which you did have yesterday but you won't have tomorrow.
In total, Norfolk Police plan to save £4.1 million by 2012. Northamptonshire Police want to make £3 million savings this year. In Cambridge, they want to save £1.2 million by next year. In Suffolk, the figure is slightly lower, £1.15 million. And in Hertfordshire, they need to save a massive £25 million over the next 4 years. The public is also waking up to just how swingeing the cuts will be, and how police services will be affected.
Not only will criminals pick up on that, but you don't see enough police presence in the area as it is.
If they haven't got the money for the sources, they can't go out on the streets.
Lots going on, lots of problems, so probably they need the money for more manpower.
This is Histon Police Station, one of 14 stations in Cambridgeshire. Now, I should stress that Cambridgeshire Police Authority has so far made no decision about where cuts will fall, but there has to be a very real possibility that a number of district police stations right across our region will be victims of the cuts. The Public Inquiry Office here is currently closed because there's no one to man it, and whether they will ultimately be able to recruit someone remains to be seen. The chairman of the local police authority knows there are tough decisions to come.
We will not be able to offer the same levels of service to the community as we do now at 25% less. That's inevitable, and people are, as you say, going to have to adapt to that.
Around 80% of police spending goes on manpower. If budgets are, as expected, eventually cut by 25%, we'll inevitably see less officers fighting crime across our region. Matthew Hudson, Anglia News in Cambridge.
Great to have you with us this
Housing benefit cuts will cause a big rise in homelessness in the east, according to a national charity. Crisis says that thousands of people in the region face debt and homelessness if the government goes ahead with planned cuts. Whitehall admit the measures will cause problems, but savings have to be made. More than 70,000 households will be affected, with tenants losing an average of more than £500 a year.
Well, the government's own figures show that 71,000 households across the east of England will be hit by the cut. They lose an average of £10 a week in their benefit, that's £520 a year. But particular areas, such as Cambridgeshire, for those claiming the one-bed rate, could lose over £800 from their benefit over the course of a year. That's a severe cut for some of our most vulnerable people.
And Norfolk County Council has been outlining more plans to cut their costs ahead of the public spending review. 100 jobs, almost half of them in management, are going as part of a structure review. Another 90 are also expected to be lost. The authority must save £4 million before the autumn spending review. Now, though, officials say they're expecting budgets to be squeezed even tighter, leaving no choice but to reduce staff numbers further and cut terms of redundancy packages.
Police investigating the murder of a man in Wisbeach have made an arrest. 49-year-old Peter Kofi had left a party on Sunday night to go to a gig at a nearby pub. He was attacked in Churchill Road and died from a neck wound. A 33-year-old man from Wisbeach was arrested earlier today on suspicion of his murder.
Now, for many, a trip to the bingo hall is as much about socialising as it is playing the game. But one MP says the venues are being unfairly taxed.
Brian Binley, the Tory MP for Northampton South, says it's unfair because bingo halls pay more tax than websites or high street bookies.
So what do the players themselves make of it? We went to a bingo hall in Norwich to find out. Here's Stuart Leiths.
In the old bingo lingo, it's the difference between young and keen number 15 and one score number 20. Licensed bingo clubs in the UK pay what's known as gross profit tax to the government. For bingo halls, that has been set by the Treasury at 20%. But for online bingo, betting shops and arcades, the GPT rate is only 15%. It's an issue that's being raised by the Northampton MP, Brian Binley.
I'd like to see bingo brought into line with other forms of gambling in recognition of their contribution to the social side of the provision of their organisation. The way that, as I say, they tend to provide a space where elderly people can meet, play a little bingo relatively harmlessly, stand the chance of a little bit of money, have a decent meal and see their friends.
Bingo hall operators also feel it's an unfair tax system.
It's grossly unfair. I mean, we're paying 20% tax at the moment. Everybody else is paying 15%. And when I say everyone else, I mean betting shops, online gaming, casinos. And obviously that 5% is a massive problem for us at the moment.
For many bingo hall regulars, it's much more than just a chance to gamble.
I don't mind if I lose or if I win. I like company.
It's socialising more than anything, and you don't get stuck in a house all day long.
So it's 20% for one and 15% for another, a set of numbers that bingo halls are calling unfair. Stuart Leiths, Anglia News.
Air accident investigators say an Essex pilot who crashed his plane on a golf course had underestimated the amount of fuel needed for his flight. Vince Hagedorn from Chelmsford made a forced landing on the 15th hole of a golf course in Dundee last August after his engine stopped. He was trapped in a tree 50 feet above the ground and had to be rescued by the fire service. He escaped with minor injuries.
He was very lucky indeed. Now, can Essex cricketers make it third time lucky in their quest to win the most popular competition in the sport?
They play in finals day of the 2020 Cup on Saturday, and victory would cap a remarkable sequence in the one-day game. Donovan Blake has more.
They've won trophies in every form of one-day cricket: 60, 55, 50 and 40 over formats. Now can Essex finally complete the set by winning the prize for the shortest format of the game, over 20 overs. They've certainly given themselves a decent chance by signing one of the best all-rounders in the world, West Indies star Dwayne Bravo. Will it be your first experience of finals day here in England?
Yes, it's going to be my first, and I hear a lot about it. It's going to be a fantastic event, a fantastic day of cricket, so I'm looking forward to it.
Bravo enhances the wealth of international talent Essex have at their disposal, including Pakistan's Danish Canaria, and Alistair Cook, pulled out of the media spotlight today despite being given permission to play by England. Could finals day help him to return to form for the Test team?
When he's been playing for us, he's been playing exceptionally well. I know it's brilliant that he's come back into our side. Now he's a quality performer, very good up front, and he's scored a lot of runs for us in the 2020 format this year and at a really quick pace.
Essex have twice tried and failed on their previous two appearances in 2020 finals day. These young fans and the thousands who head to the Rose Bowl in Hampshire on Saturday will hope it's third time lucky. Donovan Blake, Anglia News, Chelmsford.